r/ask Reddit. What's the stupidest thing you've heard a person say aloud in public? Pigs don't have blood. My co-worker trying to explain his belief that pigs don't have a heart, blood, or veins, which is why they're white meat. Wait, so then beef is red meat because it's full of blood, and chickens don't have blood either? What about dark meat? Do chickens have blood in their legs? These are important questions that your co-worker needs to address for us. Dark meat is animals from the shadow realm. Phones don't run on electricity, they run on batteries. Sit in that condescending ugh. This is so obvious voice. I don't even understand why we need cows when we can just get milk from the supermarket. When I was a kid and my mom would say we didn't have the money for something, I would tell her to just go to the bank and get some. Seemed so obvious to 5-year-old me. I've probably heard worse at some point, but I remember sitting in a Starbucks on campus and this girl was telling this guy about her trip to Italy, and at one point the guy goes, "So where do you want to go next?" And she says, "I've never been to Europe before, so hopefully that. LOL. Yeah, Europe is right in front of the UK, just out of reach. It's hard to miss. We are leaving the EU, not relocating to another continent. Not with that attitude, you're not. Since when has anyone died from getting stabbed? What are you gonna do? Stab me? Stabbed man. Julius Caesar. Breastfeeding is unnatural. Semicolon girl in my year 11 health class. It is if your breasts aren't hungry. We joke about this, but it was a legitimate line of thinking for a long time. My mother had raging fights with my paternal grandmother about breastfeeding. According to my grandmother, God allowed man to learn how to make formula, so that's what we are to use. Frankly, it felt like a modesty scramble. It felt like Adam and Eve running through the brush to find an appropriate genital leaf. There was a period in American history, I want to say the 50s, where man-made was inherently better than natural. Look through the cookbooks of the time at all the recipes using jello, etc. Boxed macaroni and cheese, cake mixes, margarine, and other stuff like that all came from the same philosophy. Most of it wasn't inherently bad, but that same idea spread into childcare. That is when disposable diapers hit the scene and baby formula, chemically formulated just for baby, because science knows best. Co-worker at my old job while we were setting up for Black Friday. It's pretty crazy that Black Friday actually falls on a Friday this year. Tell them that Halloween falls on a Friday 13th this year. P. Why did I just look at my calendar? On the bus full of high school students. She's half Asian, half Chinese. And, don't leave us hanging. What about the other half? Half human. I heard two girls talking about baking when one said she wanted to try baking a bread at home, but she didn't know how to make the crust of the bread. She also said she was thinking about baking the crust only because she liked it more than the rest of the bread. She truly thought that the crust was made separately. There is a Japanese bread in which the crust is made separate from a different dough, but that probably wasn't the case. P. I was in line at a KFC when the guy in front of me asked, "How many pieces of chicken are in a 15-piece bucket?" Honorable mention for when I heard how much does the $20 fill-up bucket cost? Him. I'm vegan but I still eat chicken and turkey, so can I get the Cuban? A sandwich with pulled pork and ham, made with turkey instead of the ham? Me. Sure. So do you want me to take the pulled pork off, or make it with double turkey? Him. No, leave that on me. Visible confusion. Okay. He comes back later with his lady all mad saying he wants a new sandwich because he didn't know pulled pork was from pig and he doesn't eat pig because he's vegan. I also forgot to mention the sandwich comes with cheese. He didn't complain about that part. It honestly breaks my brain that people can become vegan without actually knowing what foods are made from animals. Not even obscure things like gelatin or hidden dairy content, but meat. When I worked in Congress, I frequently gave tours of the Capitol. As I was wrapping up the tour, one of the constituents asked me to explain the difference between the Capitol and the White House. Okay, sure, not everyone is knowledgeable about American government. I gave them a quick explanation and figured it would be sufficient. Nope, I was clearly mistaken. I then proceeded to listen to this person loudly proclaim that I was incorrect and that the White House is the same thing as the Capitol. Bruh. During World War II history class, A girl actually thought the front line was a piece of rope held by the troops. What a deadly game of tug of war. Does myself count? I was shopping with my spouse after our child was born. We were in the baby aisle. She picked up a bottle of baby oil, which prompted me to ask aloud, wait, baby oil is actually for babies? A woman who had been walking into the aisle laughed audibly and immediately walked away. Go to flush the system and replace the fluids every 3-5 months. Newer models don't need as much maintenance. Shortly after 9/11 my wife and I were in the UK. On the way home, the customs officer at the airport was dead serious. Officer, are you a US citizen? Wife, yes. Officer, it says here you were born in New Mexico. So when did you become a US citizen? Wife, at birth. New Mexico is in the US. Officer, no it isn't. It's in Mexico. That's why it has Mexico in the name. Just like New York is in York, which is in the UK. Why oh. Harry Potter isn't a book. It's a movie. Isn't that a video game? Whilst on Thailand I had someone say I don't like it. There are just too many Asians here. Did they exclaim it loudly in a crowded room? In retaliation for 9/11 we should bomb the Taj Mahal. Birds are mammals, right? No, they're birds. I know, but they're still mammals, right? My friend has said two of the stupidest things I've ever heard. We were discussing climate change solutions in class and she says, can't we fill a hot air balloon with all the carbon dioxide and send it into space? And regarding deforestation, why don't we just clone fully grown trees? I have a very similar one. Why don't we build a really long steel pipe to space? We can put our CO2 in it and the vacuum would suck it out. And why don't we raise satellites with long steel poles instead of spending millions on rockets? He had a thing for long steel poles. He also thought steel was infinitely strong and the only thing keeping humanity from building kms high buildings was the cost. Edit. He absolutely was not talking about space elevators. He was talking about a long pole on the ground being raised by holding it from one end and sticking a satellite to the other end. Where are your extra medium dog sweaters? I would love to see an extra medium dog though. My gym has just refinished the men's locker room. It came out that there would only be personal showers, not community ones. I overheard two gentlemen in their 60s 70s. This is all because of the millennials. What are millennials? Younger people. You know they've never been in the army or navy. In my days you weren't a real man unless you were in a gangbang in the community showers at least once a month. Haha, to be honest that's what the old men's locker room felt like. I get that it's a generational thing, but I'll be happy when that dies away. I don't really have a problem with community showers. I have a problem with old men and their dropped suspension still swinging around the locker room 20 minutes after they finish drying off. Not me, but my dad has heard. I set out all these bird feeders and bird baths but not one bird comes to my yard. I bet it is all those pesticides that crop duster is laying down in the field. Local school board member. As they were standing in her 5-acre yard with 20 or more cats running around. Question. A recent poll shows that 1/5 of Americans can't locate the US on a world map. Why do you think this is? Answer. I personally believe that US Americans are unable to do so because some people out there in our nation don't have maps, and I believe that our education like such as in South Africa and the Iraq everywhere like such as, and I believe that they should our education over here in the US should help the US and should help South Africa and should help the Iraq and the Asian countries so we are able to build up our future. Heard on a crowded bus. She's half white, half black and half Chinese. I swear I could almost hear everyone within earshot collectively facepalm. Half man, half bear, half pig, man bear pig. When I worked at an aquarium I overheard an American tourist say, wow, these penguins look just like birds. I thought they were descendants of bowling pins. Sitting around a bonfire, I can already feel how I'm getting a tan. You can get a tan from fire. Which is to say you can get a mild first-degree burn from sitting too close to a fire. Not like, easily, but you can. To be fair, she was only 11. My BFF and I were mucking around with her neighbor that we had taken out for ice cream. BFF was trying to put her spoon in 11-year-old's ice cream. To which 11-year-old responded, "Stop being such a pedophile, hahaha." Needless to say, BFF and I were like 11. Yo then explained that kids at school told her that a pedophile was an annoying person. We told her to never again say that word, and later advised her mum that there was a conversation the two of them needed to have. Reminds me of a story I read on Reddit, so it's probably complete bullshit, but still funny. Someone was in a restaurant with their family, including a young female relative, 6-7-year-old cousin or niece. Someone at another table said something about rape. The little girl asked what rape was. Everyone froze and someone finally told her it's when someone forces someone to do something they don't want to do. The little girl said, "Oh yeah, my parents rape me all the time." I took my dad to see one of his favorite musicals a few years ago. We were sat in the stalls near the back, and at the interval I was dying to use the bathroom. So as soon as the curtain came down, I hopped into the queue. A woman and her daughter who were sitting in front of us joined the line behind me and were discussing the show. The daughter said it's good and all that, but I just want to tell them to stop being so miserable and to cheer up. We were watching Les Miserables. Was leaving the theater after having watched Fellowship of the Ring. Overheard a guy tell his friend, "I don't get it. How come it ended just like that?" And the friend replied, "Tolkien wrote the third already, but he's still working on the second." I had a pharmacist vehemently say evolution doesn't exist while we were filling medication to combat a MRSA outbreak at a skilled nursing home. My cousin is a good guy, but he doesn't think before he talks. One time we were at this event and the guy speaking, a white guy, gave a shout out to his son. My cousin looks at the kid and goes, "Wow, that kid's legit Chinese." Yes, people can adopt kids or have interracial marriages. What a concept. Needless to say, I pretended like I didn't know him for a while. Walking through Geneva Airport behind an American mother and child. We walk under a sign that says departures, goodbye au revoir/ciao, guten tag, sayonara, etc. Child says, "Mum, what does guten tag mean?" Mother, "I don't know. They don't speak French in Switzerland." I can't even begin to describe what's wrong with that. I once heard a woman proudly state how the White House was even more impressive in person. She was looking at the Capitol. During my stints in hospitality, "Is that the ocean? I wanted ocean view. It looks like a lake." "Nope, that is the Pacific Ocean, but hey, take a big drink if you're not sure." Guest called down at midnight, annoyed as hell, demanded we turn off the foghorn. While she found it nice for ambience during dinner, now at 2 AM it's annoying. Sure, we can. Just don't mind the giant tanker that may or may not crash into your room. Can you hold the sunset tonight? I need good pictures for my Facebook. I'm sure. I thought she was kidding. Nope, dead serious. Told an American couple I'm from South Africa. Oh, what part of England is that? Their knowledge of geography is just really old. Hell yes. Bratwurst. Wait, do bratwursts have sausage in them? I'm allergic to sausage. Being sad is a choice. The moon's distance from the earth is less than 100 kilometers. When corrected, he just said, "Well, then it's probably 110 kilometers." Can vegetarians eat olive oil? Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.